Hello and welcome back to my Minecraft creative series. This is now episode 20, and because it's a multiple of 5, I should be building 5 houses, but my plan is to release that in episode. Let me try and work out. So I've just released episode 19, which means episode 20 is on the laptop, so this should be 21. And 22 is ready to go as well, so it's probably going to be like episode 23. But I think there's not a lot of interest in those building 5 houses videos anyway, or any of my videos for that sake. But anyway, regardless, let's jump into what's going on in the episode, because even still, it can always just be for me, even if no one else watches it. But if anyone does follow along, thanks, because it just makes it feel more worthwhile, because otherwise, I'd probably record it without me talking over it. I don't know. It's still cool to watch back and remember what I was saying. But anyway, enough about me. So, unfortunately, I spoke to Siri off camera and I did roll a 1 again, which meant demolish a building. And I asked it, I think, again to pick the episode number, and it still was pointing to the courtyard. So it's really got it in for this courtyard. So I basically decided that I've got this I've got this building sort of, excuse me, on the corner that for a while I've not been too happy with. I mean, I liked it because it was a bit different, but I've been thinking that I wanted it to be flats, and then I thought maybe it should be a corner shop. So in the end, I do turn it into a corner shop, and that's what I'm going to be doing in this episode. So I'm just taking out this great big glass window, and I do make it like a cut through from the courtyard to the town square, which I think was the right thing to do. It ends up being a lot wider and bigger than the other ones. And then that little space that's left just there ends up becoming a very small corner shop, but goodness me, it is very, very small. So I don't know if at some point maybe I'll expand it or what, but yeah, it's not quite right. But anyway, let's show you what I actually do with the space. So just rip all the floor out, which is a shame because I sort of like the way that it was designed. I like the big open windows. I like that there was a little porch at the entrance. So maybe in my 5 house builds for episode 23, I think it's going to be, whoopsie, my 5 episodes for episode 23, I guess I'm going to maybe do one with the porch on like that, just to kind of commemorate that kind of, I don't know, was it an apartment? It was a weird kind of terraced house apartment type thing. It was a very strange building, which is why I thought that's the one I want to change, because and even still at the end of this episode, I'm not happy with how it is. So we'll just have to see what I end up doing. But anyway, I've put the path in, as you can see, cut through, and then I've just put in, I imagine that stone is just kind of like a curb, just to extend the path a bit instead of having grass down the side. And end up taking that right the way up to town square, just like that. And I do think it makes that space. It is quite a wide opening, but it needs to be a wide opening. I mean, this area is getting quite built up now, so I imagine it will get quite busy. As much as the narrow little cut-throughs are really cute and everything, they're not always going to be practical. So the fact that that's a nice big opening, I think, works well, especially considering that it's going to be a corner shop that I'm going to put there. So there needs to be a bit of space outside for if anyone's going to stand there and wait for anyone else or anything, or just so people can get in and out and get past and stuff. It doesn't want to be a really small, crammed-in space, does it? So that's kind of like what it looks like before I do anything to it. And I must say I'm not happy with the final product. I mean, I do think it's better than it looks now at the end of the video, but still not how I want it to be. So I'm sure at some point I'll improve that again. Now, you'll notice I've left that beam in up there, and that's because I kind of want... I mean, I like when there's old things there that sort of leaves a bit of character and reminds you how it used to be. Otherwise, sometimes you can kind of forget how it used to be, which sometimes is a good thing, but I quite liked that building. So I'm leaving that there to kind of like commemorate it, and it's just a bit of extra character. And I did think, like, actually in general in real life, people don't really tend to fix, like they say, don't fix it unless it's broken, do they? So because it would be cheaper to not take it out, I thought we could imagine, just to save money, it was left there and they're only changing the bits that they want to. I can always remove it again in the future. I know it's not that deep, but little things like that play a big part to me in design. So yeah, as you can see, I've put the entrance to the shop in this little cut through, which is perfect because I guess it's under that little roofed area, which will mean that anyone waiting will be protected from this constant rain. I did think I've actually found a counter on my landing. I've no idea where it's come from. It's blue on one side and red on the other. I did think, should I flip it? And then based on whatever, I guess if it lands on blue for water, blue for rain, and red for stop. That'd be perfect. So maybe that is just a sign that I should use it. Flip the counter and decide whether I'm toggling the rain on or off. But no, seriously, I'm probably just going to leave it. But it does rain all the time, which obviously, as I've said before, is going to have an impact on frame rate and also just what my Xbox can cope with, as if it doesn't struggle enough. Because I'm sure I bought it in like 2018, which is, gosh, maths teacher, it's like 6 years ago now, which is not that bad. But bearing in mind, I did buy it like second hand from CEX as well. So yeah, it's done its time. And as I've mentioned in my last video as well, like I keep seeing gaming PCs pop up on Facebook, and I'm really tempted, but no, I think I'm still should be saving my money at the minute, which I'm doing generally well at. But yeah, I want to save and then be rich is the plan. But what's the point in being rich if you don't use it? But I'm saving up for a car, so that is my plan. Excuse me. So I've just put a cobblestone counter in there. I do end up getting rid of those cobblestone counters, as you can see. I'm just sort of outlining sort of where I want things to go, so I can work out, like how I want it to be. And I do end up with, I mean, I know I've opened up the windows there, so they go from floor to ceiling, which I think is right for the shop. And then all the products are going to sit on those shelves. Now, I guess they're all going to be dry grocery, unless the one, I can imagine the ones at the back of the shop are maybe in the fridge, but yeah, because the back is glass. I mean, it's just not really like a fridge, is it? I have built on this world an absolutely huge Asda supermarket that's like fully kitted out with like refrigerators. I mean, I don't think I've actually put the refrigerators in, but it's got like shelves. It's got the signs to say like what's on each aisle and stuff. And my brother did actually put some, when he had to go on the world, he put some item frames on and put actual products on the shelves, which was a really good idea. Maybe I should do that, but it's not what I do in this episode. It'd be cool to show you that. It didn't get finished because I'm really bad for not finishing things off, which is why I've said for this series I want to try and finish everything that I do. But as we know, there's always the option of, Siri sometimes says to demolish things, usually things that I don't want to demolish. And then there's also not just demolishing, but the upgrade thing. When it says upgrade a building, upgrade a shop or whatever, or upgrade a house, there's that I can always come back to things and change them. So it really does kind of add a bit of surprise element. Now I must admit, the next episode I was a bit naughty and did record it in this what am I calling this village, Spruce Valley. I did record it in Spruce, was it Spruce Valley? I think so. I did record it again in Spruce Valley because well, I'd basically got a bit bored of Siri telling me to do things that I didn't want to do. So there's that, bit naughty of me. And just like wanted to keep focusing like on Spruce Valley, I guess. And I don't know if I had the idea or, yeah, I think I was sort of flying around thinking, oh, what should I do next? I don't feel like doing what Siri tells me to because Siri just keeps telling me boring things. And I was flying around and I thought, I've just released episode, I think it was like episode 17 or 18. I think it was 18. So have a look. Where, yeah, episode 18, where I upgraded the post office and fishmonger that is in this town square just behind me, in front of me now, because I've turned around, just there. But obviously there's no, like, obviously they'll be able to get deliveries from the train station, but in terms of there being deliveries where things have got to be unloaded and then passengers getting on off, it's just going to be an absolute nightmare and just cause chaos. So I do actually, in the next episode, bit of a teaser, end up building 2 extra platforms that come off the existing train line, if you like. And then I build some massive shelters. I think I build the platforms at the end of this episode so you can sort of see what I'm going to lead into. And then I build like what I think is called like a signal box. So like, I don't know if it is called that actually. It's like a building where it sort of looks over the train track, and the idea is they're going to control the actual tracks, where they switch between where trains are going to go, and be in charge of what's happening and coordinate it all. Which I lead into at the end of this episode, so you'll get to see a bit of, but then I finish it in the next one. So if that's something you want to see, I guess you can just skip this and go straight into the next episode. But focusing on this demolition at the minute. Now, I was really tempted here where we've got this opening to put a shop on the other side of it too. And I've been toying with the idea, but in the end I decided to leave it because I quite like that building. But I do think as this place is evolving, it obviously needs extra shops. Like it needs a butcher's. We don't have a butcher's. It's got no fruit and veg shop. Just little things like that. Although this is a general store, so it could have a bit of everything. But I need to work out how many people, again, are roughly employed. But I think the employment rate around this village, which I keep forgetting its name, Spruce Valley, is about 25 people. And we obviously, I don't think, have enough buildings for 25 jobs yet. But that's something I need to work out in my own time when I get really bored. In the meantime, I'll just keep winging it and doing what Siri says, I guess. But I'm not going to build any like massive supermarkets or anything because it's just not right for the village. And as you know, I want it to kind of grow organically. So this is pretty much how the shop ends up being. I do end up leaving the doors open just so it's a bit more inviting. Obviously, they could be closed at night time, but I'm just going to leave them open. We can imagine it's like 24 hours if you like. Now, a bit of a problem with what I've done here is you can't actually get to that space above the shop unless I knock that building through, maybe. I mean, I don't do it in this episode. But if I knock the building next door through, they could maybe just have like an extra giant bedroom or something like that. It's definitely something that I've not thought about and needs to be built in. I've just noticed those houses to the left don't have doors, so I need to put doors on those houses. I know that a lot of them were like half done, and I have like secretly off camera been adding back gardens onto them. I mean, it's not content worthy, so I've been doing it off camera. You can see here I'm just sort of adding a bit of decor. It looked too plain, so I put these beams in, but I really don't like the way it looks. I think, if I'm being honest, the whole building probably just needs tearing down and designing again from scratch. But we'll see what Siri picks and how things kind of develop over time. But this is basically how my shop ends up. Not very exciting. It's definitely different to how it was. I hope you like what I've done, but feel free to give me your feedback like always. Just put an extra column in there to give it a bit of character because the wall looked really plain. You could have like an ATM there or something, but that's just, yeah, we're imagining this is a cash only world at the minute. We've not got that advanced, I guess. I don't know. But then if it is cash only, then it does need an ATM, doesn't it? What am I thinking? But then you'd need a card to operate the ATM, so. Oh, I don't know. Which makes me think I need banks. I need banks. Maybe I could make that building up there, just to the right, near that well behind me now, an actual bank because I couldn't decide what to turn it into. I've got lots of ideas for it, but we'll see. Maybe hopefully Siri will tell me to demolish it because, yeah, I'm just not really. It's just, yeah, I just tucked it in there thinking maybe it could be a council building, and it's not been a council building, so I kept the council building, the original council building, and I don't know what to do with it now, so we'll see. Unless you've got any suggestions, I'm all ears. We'll see. It will definitely turn into something. I'm just not sure what yet. So that's basically what the little shop ends up being like. Now, I do like pause here because I think that's going to be the end of the video. But as you can see, I've got a lot more recording to go because I do end up putting these extra platforms in. So let's sort of go forward. You just see me there like admiring it and checking it looks right. I thought, oh, maybe it could do for what you call it, a thumbnail of my video, but no, it doesn't look good, does it? So we'll see. But anyway, I fly around a bit more, and eventually, where am I now? Oh yeah, inside that building, deciding whether to turn it into a shop or keep it as a house. What am I doing now? Just replacing a door. I can't remember. I'm sorry. Not the best narration, is it? But I do think still doing it this way is better than how some other YouTubers do it, which is narrate it as they're doing it, because there's not always a lot going on in the videos. Like, there's a lot of gaps between them talking and what's going on. And I found, at least with my videos, you can either listen to my story or watch what's going on, or do both. So that it's just a little bit more entertaining than me going, I'm going to put this block here. I'm going to put this block here. No, maybe I'll change that. And it's good because you don't need to hear every single thought process I have. And if it's important, I can say it over the recording. So I've gone back to the shop area again. I guess that would make a good thumbnail. So that'll maybe be the thumbnail to my video. But let's go forward, and you can see here I'm starting to think, where can I put these sort of loading bays to go to the back doors for the post office and the fishmonger. Now I do actually consider like making them go right up to the door so they can just take the goods straight inside, and then I think no, that's not right. I leave them near, yeah, well, you'll see, near the actual train line, so they just sort of come off a little bit like so and run parallel, and I make one there and one a bit further down and have the signal box thing in between. Let me fast forward and show you. So I've just put little cobblestone blocks. I don't know if you can actually see my mouse in the recording, but I'll have to watch that back and figure that out. But I put little cobblestone blocks on that cobblestone just to mark how big it is so I can make them both the same size. Now it looks like I paused here because I think that I'm probably going to do it in the next video or something, but I know I carry on. because I'm literally halfway through my recording. So look, here goes in the little, that's where the sort of signal box area is going to be. And I must say, I finished it now. It does end up being quite a quirky, strange little building. It does look a bit odd, so I don't know if I'll change it at some point. What else was I going to say? I don't know what I'm doing here. I'll just extending it to make it the right size for what I want it to be. And then I put a little window in the side, which I think's right. It does need a window, or it'll just be brick and it'll be very dark. So yeah, a little platform there. And I did decide which was which. I think that one's going to be for the fishmonger because it's closer. And then the other one is going to be for the post office. The other one's just going to go this side of that signal box. So let's fast forward and see what else I've got in this episode. So just finish off the base of that signal box. You can see me here, just add in the room at the top where the sort of lookout would be. Now I must admit, because I build sort of roofs over those extra train lines that I've run parallel to the existing one, it does mean that you can't really see a lot from the signal box, but it's still a control tower somewhere where you can sort of half see what's going on, and yeah, just keep everyone coordinated and be in touch with everyone and know exactly what's going on, I guess. I know that there's the office space above the train station toilets that can also be used as a coordination space, but you can't see from there where the trains are arriving. And I also thought where I've got the signal box is obviously where the tracks are going to be able to switch over to allow like minecarts to go either to the fishmonger bit or just stay on the passenger line. So that was my logic. I know it's in a bit of a strange place, but that was my logic. So I was actually finding some stairs. You can see I've loaded my hot bar, as they call it, with I think it's called a hot bar, I don't know, with lots of different types of stairs, because I put some underneath this sort of watchtower room at the top as if they're supporting it, and just also as a bit of decor. I think it looks quite nice. I just think my actual room at the top of this like watchtower or signal box or whatever really needs another row of, of bricks around it, but you'll see it get finished off in the next episode. So if it's something you want to see, go and watch the next episode. But anyway, I'm going to skim past it because this is not super exciting. I don't think a lot more actually happens in this episode, so I'm going to super fast forward. You can see I've added another line in there which is the same size. I do like things to be the same size. I think that's my mild OCD. Is it OCD or is it just wanting it to look nice? Now I do appear to have stopped here, so I guess, let me double check, that nothing else happens. No, I've just got ages and ages and ages of just this in the background. So I'll leave this episode here. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I hope you're enjoying the journey half as much as I am, as I always say. In the next episode, I will be finishing off these two bays. I'll be putting massive sort of roofs over the two bays, so that one's for the fishmonger, one's for post office. And I do finish off that sort of signal box watchtower building as well. So if that is anything you want to see, please tune into the next episode. And hopefully the episode after can be the 5 houses that I was supposed to build for episode 20. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, please give the video a thumbs up so I know you've enjoyed it and I know what people want to see. Otherwise, we're going to have to keep letting Siri determine what happens next, which I could do now, but I'm very aware I need 5 houses for this episode 20 that's gone by, so we'll see. But thank you for watching. You know to give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video, and hopefully I'll see you for the next one. Take care.